Yeah, so it looks like we all have characters, and I, I just realized I don't know if you all know each other, so maybe we should all introduce ourselves. I guess I'll go first. I'm Bethany. I've not GM'd a whole lot. Just recently started jamming online. Mostly done well. So I've mostly facilitated games rather than technically running them because I have done a lot of like Dream Askew and Flotsam and other GM-less games. So if I seem like I'm expecting all to provide more plot and or world stuff, it's because I'm used to other people playing some of the setting elements, and I will try to remember that I am playing all the setting elements. My pronouns are either they, them, or she, her. I don't care. Uh, and I think that's about all. So let's just go, I guess, left, right. Bruce?
Hey, I'm Bruce, and I've played quite a bit of Dungeon World. Mostly I run Dungeon World. I don't get as much chance to play, so this is really fun for me to get a chance to be a player. And I play a lot of other systems. I've been playing RPGs for, I don't know, 30-something years, roughly. And yeah, and this is actually the second time I've played in a Gauntlet game, so I'm really excited to be doing this and happy to be here with y'all.
Oh, my next option. My name's Matt. I'm also fairly recent to the Gauntlet community, recent to the whole role-playing genre in general. Picked it up. I used to play a couple of games of D&D back in the day, but kind of lost touch with that, and then I found Dungeon World and been liking it. So yeah, just been playing a bit of that.
Cool. And CJ, not Jim, CJ.
I'm CJ. I've been with Gauntlet for a little over a year now. I haven't played Dungeon World in quite some time, but I've been role playing with Beth for like, I don't know, 2 years, 2.5 years, going on 3 now, and full-time IT, but I'm also a full-time student as well. So this time was perfect for me, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, you're not busy at all. You also run ultra marathons, so
There's a lot going on. So when Beth was like, "Hey, I have a 9 a.m. spot," I'm like, "I'll take it."
I'm glad I could find a time that you were not running, studying, or working.
Yeah, life goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
Jim? Let me see if I can turn CJ up a little more.
Hey, sorry, that was Cedric Diggory that you saw getting in front of my camera there for a moment. He's walking across my desk. So I've got 2 cats in the room here with me. Who may make an appearance during the game. I'll do my best to keep them off camera. But so my name is Jim. I use he, him pronouns, but if you're using they, them for everybody, that's fine too. I'm totally okay with that. I've been on the Gauntlet, gosh, 1.5 years or something like that at this point. Bethany and I have actually played together a bunch, which is really cool. She's been in a bunch of games that I have emceed, including a whole lot of Dungeon World. In fact, mostly Dungeon World, I think. So, which is one of the things that got me to sign up for this game. That I'm very excited to be on the other side of the virtual GM screen, as it were, for this. So, folks who know me from outside the Gauntlet probably know me because I owned a game store for many years, which I just closed down about 1 year ago, and have had a lot of time on my hands. So I've played a whole lot of Gauntlet games since then. I now have a little business where I just I sell a whole lot of indie role-playing games at conventions all up and down the East Coast, Midwest, and I work with Indie Press Revolution, so folks can see me at like the PAXs and Gen Con, Origins, all that kind of stuff. And if you want to find me online, I'm at Jim Likes Games on Twitter, and jimlikesgames.com on the internet for everything else, blogging and my little RPG session recap podcast that I do and all that sort of stuff. So I am really looking forward to this.
You add a new thing every time you do that introduction. You've got like a media empire at this point.
I'm trying. It's something to do since I'm not at the store every day. So
No, it's awesome.
Do you run that company, the Indie Press Revolution?
no, I'm a partner with Indie Press Revolution. So Indie Press Revolution works out of Nevada.
Okay.
And I'm in New York, so I'm kind of Indie Press Revolution East. I have like a small kind of, selection of like a smaller version of their warehouse in my office in New York. And then I go and do all of the like PAX East, PAX Unplugged, double exposure shows. And we kind of meet in the middle of the country twice a year so that we can, chat and see each other. And, I know all the games as well as they do. So it's great to have us both work in the booths and stuff like that. So,
Nice.
I mean, I guess what you would call like an affiliate, or, I kind of a partner, sort of their official representative, basically east of the Mississippi and, north of the Mason-Dixon line for the most part. So.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
And CJ, I just want to say thank you for running ultra marathons, which I assume is some kind of like double marathon or something like that. Because that means that I never have to run a marathon because you're doing it for both of us. So
Yeah, taking one for the
just you're doing God's work there,
Yeah.
my friend.
I think he's doing it for like 3 of us in some cases.
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
the length of those things.
I think the entire party is covered with him doing that. So that's just very grateful that we're off the hook.
While wearing awesome hats, no less.
Echo that. Thanks for taking one for the team, for sure.
No worries. Just keep me alive, and we're good.
Well, maybe, watch out for the Georgia Death Race or something.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I guess characters. Everyone has characters. So we can let's do snake order. So Jim, tell us about Luciano 6.
Luciano 6 is the bard. He is I have modeled him on Robert Johnson, the Delta blues singer who went down to the crossroads and sold his soul to the devil for the ability to play stunningly amazing blues guitar. So he's got a different story. I think I kind of like the idea that he has a different story every time for where he got his, astonishing 6-string guitar playing ability. Goes to my grandfather, that down to the crossroads and sold my soul to the devil is, to I guess a demon, because it would be, Dungeon World. But he's got a different story every time, depending on what town he's in and who's asking and stuff like that. But he's just an incredibly good guitar player. And I have knowing eyes, a stylish hat, and finery, and that kind of like, suit and nice hat and stuff like that, like whatever our kind of Dungeon World steampunky equivalent of that is how I'm dressed. Like I'm always dressed like I could, walk right into I will fit right in at a very fine club or a music hall or something like that, like a like a fancy opera house. But certainly any kind of divey inn I walk into, I'm just right through the door going to be the best dressed person in the place. And I have that cool instead of a worn bow, I have that revolver that I have that picture of, which is one of those steampunky things where it's you kind of cock it with a little lever on your fingers to kind of spin the revolver, to spin the barrel, the cylinder. And I feel like with the way that like ammo works and stuff like that, I think it'll go just fine with everything. And I've got technically what I've got is a short sword, but I think in my case, I've actually got a something that like looks like it's just like a little flange in the bottom of my guitar that I can yank out and stick anybody that's trying to make too much trouble when I'm up on stage. So and I travel around and I play the guitar and I sing and I just pick up a lot of stuff, urban legends and things, and and stories about where I'm going. Not the least of which is a bunch of stuff that's in like cool old songs, folk songs, and blues songs and stuff that I pick up as I wander around. And if you ask me about a place, I'm far more likely to just play a verse of a song that I know about that place than I am to just tell you what's going on with it. But I can do that too. So
Awesome. Yeah. Do you want to reveal the real way you got the amazing guitar skills, or is that a secret?
Oh, that's like I said, depending on everyone that asks me, I am absolutely earnest in telling them where it came from.
Cool. Yep. Excellent. So,
I mean, metagame, the real answer is just like a shit ton of practice.
right. Okay.
There is no magic. It's just you got to do it and do it and do it. It's like Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours is why I'm good at it. But people want there to be a reason.
Right. No, that's even better. I love it. So how about Lieutenant Rekka?
Okay. So Lieutenant Rekka, she's kind of a tryhard that attempts to hide her insecurities behind her badge and her rifle. And I think one of the issues with Rekka is that her profession is pretty much all that she has. And not only that, but it's how she like envisions herself. Like that's her life. She doesn't have like any hobbies or anything that defines her except for what she does for a living. Her appearance is fiery eyes, styled hair, fancy holy symbol, and I guess normal body. She works for the local authority, I guess. I'm not sure who they are in this setting or what they would be called, if you know.
So I mean, there can easily be a larger kingdom or something that you work for, and you could be here. Yeah, you could be here checking up on something, maybe,
Okay.
or you could just be passing through. But yeah, you can easily like you and I am going to leave the name of the person or authority that you work for, and the details up to you if they come up. But yeah, we'll say that like there's a larger kingdom, district, whatever that you are a law enforcement officer for.
Okay, so then in that case, then I would say that she's a redeemer officer or a justice officer of this authority, whose name I will provide once I come up with one. And I think one of their quotes is "Execution is worship," and I think what that means is the ability to get something done can't be triumphed over. Like there is no such thing as can't. And whenever there's an obstacle, it can be overcome just through execution and doing what you have to do. And I think that's a quote or saying that she takes along with her wherever she goes. Rekka is one of those people who could probably quote the scripture or the rules and regulations of what she abides by through like paragraph per like sentence, but has a hard time ordering a drink at a bar because not sure what the social protocol is for that. Like, are there rules for ordering at a bar? Do you ask for 2 ice cubes instead of 3? Like, what does 3 ice cubes mean? Does that have like a meaning or anything like that? And that's where she is with the whole social awkwardness. She uses a rifle, an antique rifle, as her main weapon, and just kind of uses it to deflect blows. So she kind of uses it as both her shield and her main weapon as well. And that's something that all Redeemer officers do. And her unit is they're known for having that same standard issued rifle. So if you see one on a person, you just automatically know who they belong to or like what they do. Kind of like a big game warden sign on someone's chest. And their icon, this authority that I have yet to make, I would say that it looks kind of like a stylized eye in the center of their chest, somewhat like what you see from the Inquisition of Dragon Age. And that itself also has a meaning with regards to always seeing evil through the darkness and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, Ozadeus.
Yes. Ozadeus is a mage, which makes him, I assume, a pretty rare sight in this setting. He's part of like a mage order, and he was climbing the ranks in the mage order, trying to like reach higher and higher status and trying to figure out stronger and stronger magic. When he failed at a powerful ritual, and it kind of like backfired on him and left him disfigured and not cursed per se, but like infected with some kind of like magical cancer. So that's why he's kind of like got a mask that's kind of like keeping him alive. It's kind of like this enchanted cold iron mask that kind of like is keeping him in like a frost stasis. My main source of casting comes from this mask. Most of my magic is around winter, frost, and the likes, and ice. He keeps most of his skin covered with long flowing robes and hoods, and the mask. It's covered with like strange symbols and stuff like that. All of it is meant to slow down the progression of this magical cancer that's slowly eating at him. So that's kind of why he's wandering around the world right now. He's trying to find a cure or something that will stop this cancer. So he's kind of like quit the order and hit the tracks and kind of like delve deeps into ancient lore in order to find himself a cure that will hopefully save him. It's kind of
Wow.
what I got so far.
Oh, that's amazing. And Harvo.
So Harvo, Harvo is an outsider. He's not of this land. He has come to this. He's been wandering, and he came to this place from his home far away in the mountains. And he is a person of the old ways. He so so he looks like, if you first glance, his gear is very rustic. It's old. His sword, he carries a massive two-handed sword, and it looks old, but as you get closer, you can see it's well cared for, and it's extremely sharp. He has piercing eyes and mighty thews, great muscular, sinewy arms and legs. He wears unusual jewelry. You see, he has a couple of strings of teeth around his neck. I think looks like he's well into the second string. He takes a tooth from each vanquished foe and adds it to the string. And he's wearing what appears to be, he's taken some old chainmail and attached it to some thick hides to make like an armored coat. It's very craftily, but rustically put together, obviously hand stitched with the gut string. And the sides of his head are shaven, and he has this sort of ritual like little knot growing out of his chin with a little ring through it, and he there's a lot of piercings and little tattoos on him as well. And he's clearly not a city dweller. Settlements of civilization are not his thing. And you will find that he eschews the modernization of the world. He might look at your pistol and roll his eyes, or shake his sword and say, "The workings of men cannot beat the power of steel from the earth." He's very rooted in traditional ways, and dubious and doubtful of contraptions and devices made by men. And but he's a pretty good-natured guy in general, despite his violent and gruff demeanor. He's pretty. He likes to indulge in vices and good times, and so yeah, it's I think that's it. That's Harvo.
How do you know each other? Or do you?
I think it works. I always like it if we have some kind of established relationships that we do know each other. Then we're not flailing around the first couple of sessions actually getting to know each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Well, I'll say Harvo is a wanderer. He doesn't really have a place, not rooted anywhere. So he could easily encounter folks along the road and establish, a traveling companion. Oh, you're going to the next city? Let's go together, and establish something that way.
I feel like you and me falling in together is almost like a Fafford and the Grey Mouser kind of a thing.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, absolutely.
Like I'm the, I'm playing these places and we don't always know how rough they are, and so having a bouncer to pay a chunk of my take to keep me from getting my my neck broken is I think that'd be great.
I could see Harvo. So he rolls into a town. He likes to stay to the outskirts, right?
Yeah.
There's always a pretty, maybe a little more seedy or rustic sort of inn on the edge of town where, so maybe the other good gigs were taken, and you ended up having to play in a little rustic place. And so Harvo would roll in there to get himself some meat and a bowl of stew. But so so I'm gonna say you're playing by the fire, and Harvo, this huge guy, comes up. He's got a tankard in each hand. He just sits at a stool right by you and listens to the music.
Oh yeah,
just like this. Play more.
Yeah, and I could certainly see it being a thing where, oh, my friend, I see that you are from the Northlands. I learned this song, and play two strings, like the two lowest strings, do some kind of drinking song from your homeland or something, and that I feel like that's then more off to the races.
So he's gonna start singing along in some ancient barbaric like because he knows the words, and he buys you a drink, of course. He goes, "Oh, my little friend," he goes, "Harvo likes music." He goes, "It reminds me of my childhood sitting. My babushka played the ukulele so sweetly."
I do not have a ukulele, but I can play it if you can produce one for me. So.
Oh no, he goes, you play perfectly. I would not change a thing. The giant ukulele is a hero's ukulele.
Well, I am many things, but I'm not a hero, my friend, although you have the look of one about you, so.
Harvo is a hero. Well, Harvo is a good fighter, and he's going to shake his teeth. Many foes fall at Harvo's sword. And you see, this sword is it's like a person, it's like another entity in the room.
It
So
gets share.
that's us, yeah.
So yeah, you two have been traveling together for a little while. Harvo, do you like always try to get Luciano to pick like an inn or a bar where there's likely to be more fights? Or are you like happy to be like, oh, hey, a nice relaxing one, no fights tonight?
So Harvo isn't like prone to violence for the sake of violence, but if there's wrestling or like, a chance for some fisticuffs, for sport, he is right there. And if a fight breaks out, yeah, he's shucking off everything and going at it. Yeah, he loves a good fight, but he understands that violence is a necessity sometimes in getting things done or saving yourself or defending yourself or taking care of somebody you don't like. But he's not he doesn't pick fights just for sport. So, and actually he would probably, he would follow, his new friend to wherever he's going. Cause first of all, he's like, he likes this guy. So immediately, he's bonded with them and, he's going to watch out. He's a little fellow. So I better watch out. It's just a big, dangerous world out there. He's Harvo. Take care of the little fellow. So
How'd the other two meet? This pair.
I mean, it sure sounds like the two of us get into situations where someone would call the cops.
That's probably where Lieutenant Rekka steps in, because it just seems like an everyday occurrence. Like, she gets called on scene, and she sees the two of them before she actually sees the scene, and just kind of automatically knows that, okay, these two got into a fight, whether or not they started it or they ended it, but one of the two happened.
So does Luciano, does he tempt fate? Does he dabble in maybe just, I'm spitballing here, does he dabble in maybe a little like light theft or anything like that, or
No.
some or other maybe unsavory activities that might attract the constabulary?
No. I'm a legitimate performer. I get paid. I get paid for doing my music, and it is not my fault that people's wives, boyfriends, daughters, brothers-in-law, mothers like approach me and want to enjoy the pleasure of my company when they have other people in their lives that are not okay with that.
Friend Luciano is a victim of his own charisma. It's not his fault.
It's true. Yes. I don't, I just sing the songs. I can't control how people react to them. So yeah, I mean, like I get a lot of jealous spouses, angry parents, upset cousins, who get the wrong impression of what's going on. So I think that I feel like that is the main source of one of my keys is actually not keys. My flags is put us in a situation where we're trying to be on incognito, but I'm like too famous for that to happen. Like that I just get recognized by people. So yeah, I mean, like I think there's a lot of misunderstandings. But they're not because I'm like picking stuff off of people. I will wager on the outcome of some of these brawls that Harvo gets into. With people under the mistaken impression, just because he is as inebriated as he is, that he will not be, as ferocious a fighter as he turns out to be, despite how inebriated he is. And sometimes people get upset about that, but they shouldn't have wagered if they weren't prepared to lose the wager. Has always been my philosophy.
Nice. Yeah. So you don't technically start the fight. You
Never. No.
you cause the incident leading up to the fight, but you don't actually, like, they always start the fight.
Luciano and Harvo are victim of circumstance. That's what we always tell them.
It's true.
Yeah. It's because you're so good at what you do.
Yeah, and I am well versed in all of the various local ordinances about, like how you're, like if you're the first to show steel, or have your gun clear their holster, then you are, you're de facto the person who started it. So that's, yeah.
Right. Like the other night, he told Harvo that if one man has a sword and you don't, that man is the aggressor. So Harvo threw his sword at the other guy and knocked him out. But hey, Harvo is unarmed. Look.
So Lieutenant Rekka, I also think that I would find your like social awkwardness to be charming.
Mm-hmm.
And would happily be your kind of your tutor in that kind of stuff, and to kind of help you navigate the world of taverns and dances and balls and music halls and all that kind of stuff.
That would make sense, especially because you yourself is not a person of crime. I think that would be kind of endearing, and it would show yourself as someone being trustworthy,
Yep.
despite the company that I think that you keep is relatively questionable. But I understand. There's a lot of things about this land that I don't understand, and I would just chalk it up to that as well. Like, given time, maybe I'll have a better understanding.
I go where the music takes me, Lieutenant.
Come with Harvo. I show you how to do something good with that tiny sword.
But so Ozadeus, what do you think would be? So you've got this. You're on a mission to find a cure for yourself. Is that what's going on? Or
Yes, I am dying. I got the cancers of the magics. Yeah.
There was a magical university not too far from this town,
Okay.
like, a couple days walk maybe. Did you perhaps study there, or you maybe on the way there in the hope that someone would have a cure?
I would even say that I was like a teacher there, climbing up.
Okay.
Maybe I was like gunning for like the archmage position or something similar to that, like the headmaster position, and I was like, I'll prove to them I'm worthy. I'll perform this massive ritual and show them how powerful I am, and it like backfired, and then I got expelled or something. I don't know if I still hold status there or anything, but
Harvo understands the struggle to make tenure.
So how do you know these three?
that is going to be a good question.
I mean, the thing that makes the most sense is that there was like you needed to find some kind of something that might have put you along in your cure, and like hired us or asked us to go along with you. The kind of like hired us to go on an adventure, and then we all got along well, and
I like that. I'd be okay with that.
Okay. So yeah, you weren't necessarily all traveling together, right when you got to this town, but you have all met in the past at least, and you recognize each other, and yeah, okay, cool. Well, you all would be at an inn called the Lazy Bear. There are 2 inns in this town, and that is the less expensive one. It's also like by far the busier one because this time of year there aren't a lot of rich traders coming through. And it's run by a half-orc named Tark Broadwater, who is very he's very business-minded in that he's always trying to attract people and keep customers. So he does tend to crack down on the fights. But like the former owner, who is still there, is his slightly senile father, who likes to pick fights. Makes his life pretty interesting. So let's say that Harvo and Luciano were traveling together, wandering the country, looking for places to play music. And Rekka, you've been sent here, and like you just happened to see them at this inn. And Ozadeus, you're not far from the university. Are you going back there, or have you just left, or?
I don't know. Is there any chance that like I'm tracking like a potential cure or a step toward that direction?
Oh, definitely,
Some
definitely.
rumors in town, maybe, or
Yeah, this town it used to be. So at one point, it was this like very modern, advanced, small city, but it's dwindled a lot since then. And the reason it's dwindled is that its like major trading partner, which was a much larger city and even much more advanced to the north, um, it had a couple of other magical universities, and something went very, very wrong. And now that city, which was called New Valterre, is well, it's inhabited mostly by ghosts and zombies and such. But there's still a trade in, sometimes very brave or very foolish people from Jawbone, which is the town you're in, will go north and try to find artifacts from this like highly advanced civilization and bring them back. So this is actually a good place to find things like that. You could, yeah, easily be looking for something like that might hold a cure. I don't know what that particular object is. Well, do you know, or
the MacGuffin? We'll call it
the MacGuffin? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you're here looking for a MacGuffin.
Maybe like some way that I can turn my body undead to survive the curse, but not mindless either, right? Like just to like
nice.
keep my sanity, but still go undead, so I don't die.
Right. So you're basically you're trying to be a lich.
Yeah, like it's not the official thing, like the order doesn't know about it, but I'll survive.
Well, there was this strange obsidian boulder in the basement of the University of Necromancers that there may be some little splinters of it somewhere people have taken, and this would be a pretty good place to look for that.
I'd love to use some spout lore on that if that's possible.
Yes, please.
I also have like a move that's arcane learning, and it's whenever I discern reality or spout lore about something magical on a 10+, I'll also get a little known secret about it.
Okay.
We'll
cool.
see how that rolls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not a 10+, but it is a 7. About this necromancer university that's been hiding out. I think that's
okay.
Trying to see if I can get some. I guess I only get something interesting about it.
Something interesting, yes. Okay. Yeah, there. So this, big. It's like a large obsidian boulder, taller than it is wide. stored in the basement of the Necromancers University, and you know of it because, well, you taught at its sister university to the south, and you also know that people have for hundreds of years, it's been a thing to like sneak into this place, get a little splinter of that obsidian block, and use it for various necromancy type things. The most common use for it by just like lay people who somehow get a hold of it and think it's cool is to control zombies. But you think that there are probably other more advanced uses that a mage like yourself could put it to.
I like it.
That's it. You're all in this inn, and you weren't planning on spending more than a night here, probably. This is a place that people pass through, especially this time of year. It's very unpleasant. It's in sort of a bowl-shaped valley, and the factory at the end spews out this noxious coal smoke that just fills the valley because the air pressure kind of keeps it down, and the air is just this choking, acrid smog. People spend very little time outside. Even the snow is kind of tan from falling through the smoke. You walk around with your eyes watering all the time when you go outside. So everyone kind of crowds into whatever buildings they can and just does not leave very often. But you are all, sitting downstairs in the little bar below the inn part is the top 2 stories, and there's like a tavern on the bottom floor where not only travelers but also locals will come and drink. And the door opens, and a little snow blows in, and a dwarf is standing there. He's just like covered with snow, and following him is this enormous dog who's also covered with snow, just like matted in its fur. The dog's shoulders are roughly even with the dwarf's head, and he kind of stamps off the snow, kind of tries to brush off the dog a little bit, and comes in. Walks up to the bar, and he kind of just turns around and looks and clears his throat. So I'm sure you all have been waiting to hear. I'm sorry, the passes are still closed. There's no way that you could get. There's no way you could get through it on foot, even unless you're much taller than I am, and even then, I wouldn't. You're just gonna have to wait for the thaw. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
So there's 2 areas right now. There's like this town with the industry that we're in that's kind of like in failing industry wise, and the pass leads to the what again? The undead part.
So there is a pass. There's a pass to the east and to the west. There is the way to the undead city is the old way was a tunnel, but it has been deliberately dynamited and closed off.
Yes.
So it would be even harder to get out of town in that direction, right?
And as far as like the whole party is concerned, like we're trying to leave this is this
I don't know. Are you here? Yeah. Are you here deliberately, or are you passing through on the way to another town?
It sounded like we were here because we were helping Ozadeus try to find something, right?
Yeah, I mean, if that's okay with you guys, I'd love to have you as my hired help.
Yes,
the order has
Okay.
power and influence, I assume.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So I guess I have a few questions about this town and the inn you're in currently, which is Rekka. What is your? So you're a paladin. Are you a follower of a particular deity, or how does that work exactly?
Yeah, I think she is, and I think with this current quest, it's kind of like it was her turn on the duty roster to do a patrol of this area for a certain period of time, and anything involving her jurisdiction she has to take care of until it's time for her to go back to her headquarters, and then someone else comes along.
Okay. Yeah, there's a temple in this town that it's of the same sect as you are,
Okay.
but you've heard some unsettling rumors about it. What have you heard?
I think I heard that some of the staff are on the take, like they're easily bribed and have been bribed in the past, and that's something that I'm on the lookout for because that doesn't bide well with me.
Okay. What would they bribe a priest to do?
Maybe to look the other way, maybe to act as like a front or a storehouse for illicit goods,
Okay.
maybe to back crooked politicians or people in power.
Okay. Yeah, Ozadeus. So this town, it's a source of like has historically been a good place to find artifacts from New Valteri, but it's also the factory in town makes these enchanted objects, and they're weakly enchanted objects. They don't really pretend to be anything else. They don't, there's no claims that you will cure your cancer with them.
Yes.
But above and beyond just, not being particularly powerful objects, they're kind of a joke among like serious students of magic. And what makes them so low quality?
I think it's the amount of time that they can be used. Like they have only a few charges per item, right? Like the magic that's stored within dissipates very quickly over time as well as maybe in use. So it's like you need to constantly get new ones when you maybe
Okay.
want something.
So they're basically disposable, huh?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Like great value batteries. They don't last.
Yep. Very cool. Okay. Are any of you from here?
I mean, the university is not too far, so I mean, like it's
That's true. Yeah.
that-
Yeah. So you kind of know the area.
Yeah.
Good. Good to know. But yeah, since you're from this general area, who are you worried that you might run into?
I'm just gonna go ahead and like go with it here. I think I am from this town, and I think my family lives in this town. Like maybe my parents or sisters or siblings lived in this
Okay.
town. They did not approve of me going to study magic. They wanted me maybe to work in the factories or like produce magical objects. They're like, it's almost the same thing. I'm like, no, man, it's not. It's not the real thing.
The magic here isn't good enough for you?
Yeah, so we kind of left off in like really bad terms, I think, as I left for the university, and I've been studying there maybe for like the last like 15 years, right? So I haven't seen them or any contact with them.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good. Yeah, Lieutenant Rekka. What rumors have you heard about this town's notoriously corrupt former sheriff? Augustus Clutter was his name. And how has the principled new sheriff changed things?
I think the rumor that I heard about Augustus is that he was in the pocket of, say, a local black market trader, and this new sheriff that has come in has really cleaned stuff up. But I think his life might be in danger because there is an element of the city that likes things the way that they were. They do not enjoy the change with this new sheriff because this new sheriff isn't as easily controlled as the last one was.
Okay, nice. Yeah, this is there's no problems lurking in the background of this town at all. I will remember your name, Luciano. There we go. I didn't even have to look at it that time. Yeah, so you like to tell, stories about folklore, and sitting in this inn, you see a portrait on the wall it's kind of old, kind of stained with smoke, but you can make out it's a picture of a big, strong-looking armored man and even bigger, stronger-looking one-armed orc woman, and also two boys, one half-orc and one human. And you recognize the adults as the legendary warrior couple. What are their names? Virgil Broadwater and Darga One Arm. And what have you heard about their exploits before they settled down here?
I can't hear Jim. I don't know if that's anybody else, but
Yeah, I can only hear Matthew right now.
How about now?
yep.
My cat stepped on my mute thing when he sat down on my lap, because I have this tucked into my lap, and he went flump down, and it clicked the little clicker that. Sorry about that. So I think what I've heard is that she lost that arm because they got like stranded in a cave-in somewhere, and she was so tough that she had him cut her arm off, and they ate it to stay alive. And like that formed a bond between the two of them that was thereafter unbreakable. That they loved each other with a ferocity and that only people who had faced death together could that's a bond that can only be formed in that situation. And there's a crazy song about that I sing.
Have you sung it in this bar?
Probably. I think yes. I think that's one where you got to kind of read the room and see whether people are up for it. And like I feel like they are like they are ancient enough that there might be some that there's like urban legend or whatever that kind of the folklore is that they were the first orc and human to get together, and that all half orcs come from the two of them. Which is like obviously ridiculous, but it's like
that is really cool. Yeah. So how ancient is this so obviously ridiculous that like there are many half orcs alive, or not many, but a few half orcs alive now who are like older than them?
Probably not. Like I think we're going back. Like it's entirely possible that they were this proprietor's like great grandparents or something like that.
Okay.
But I kind of like the idea that there's pictures of them all over the place, that they're folk heroes, that they're like Paul Bunyan's, Robin Hood style folk heroes. And so depending on where you are, they'll look like they could be related to whatever half orc has their picture hanging in their house, kind of thing like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In fact, they were this particular half orcs, distant ancestors, definitely. Or
sure, they
at least he tells you that.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Well, he does share a last name.
Yes. Yep. Oh yeah.
Him,
yeah. Yeah. No.
He might be telling you the truth.
That's yeah.
Or maybe it's just a
absolutely,
really common last name.
Yeah. Sharing a name with him is absolutely that lends veracity to his claim. Certainly.
Cool. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of them being, like I said, like folk heroes. Like, and there's a bunch of other kind of tall tales associated with great deeds that they've done, and stuff that are, ranging from like children's nursery rhymes to, like bawdy drinking songs about, what they did, some of their adventures. They're more, rough and tumble adventures they went on together.
Yeah, so you're all here. There are a few people here. It's like early morning. You have all spent the night in this inn, and so have most of the other people currently in this tavern. There are.
What I want to know is, does anybody bat an eyelash that this like pony-sized dog is walking around the bar, or is this like
No.
treated as completely normal here?
People look up, and the bartender kind of.
But I mean, is this the thing where they give him
them,
like a big bowl of mead and set him to, or what is the?
The dwarf sits down and orders a plate of eggs and like kind of shares some with the dog, and the dog just kind of sits next to him and thumps his tail on the ground.
So Harvo's gonna get like a whole turkey leg or a big chop or something and go over and say, "I'm Harvo. I like your dog," and I'm gonna tear off a hunk and give it to the dog.
Oh yeah, the dwarf, the dog takes that eagerly, but relatively politely. This is a pretty well trained dog, which is a good thing because she could do a lot of damage. But yeah, the dwarf turns around and kind of grins and, "Hi there, I'm Oric, and this is Ursula. She likes people, especially people who feed her."
So he's gonna like gnaw some of this and he'll give it to the dog, let the dog gnaw some of it, and Harvo's gonna just share this thing until they get down to the bone. And they might get down to fighting over the bone, I'm not sure, but they're gonna have a good time sharing this thing.
Yeah, the dog won't fight you for the bone. Like I said, she's pretty well trained. She's used to being around people. Used to being around people who were a bit less tolerant of dogs taking their food. So, yeah, he just kind of laughs and he's like, "Yeah, I see you're a dog person. You get along. Animals seem to like you a lot."
We had many dogs when I was a boy, and I miss my Wolfie. Oh, and he's gonna pet Ursula and reminisce about his long lost Wolfie.
Oh yeah, you just made two friends. Because Oric starts talking about all the dogs that he's had and all the dogs that he's trained. He says that half of the draft dogs who you've seen, there are other very large dogs that they actually use to pull carts and sleds here. There's not a lot of horses, but there are a lot of very large dogs. And this is I raised half of them in town. A lot of them are her puppies, and all the guard dogs at the factory, they're her puppies too. We actually need to bring in some more dogs to keep them from getting too inbred. And he starts telling you the stories of the various litters of dogs that he's raised and trained.
At the word puppies, Harvo's in a trance. He's captivated.
Yeah. Or it kind of like notices that, and he says, "Yeah, she's getting pretty old, and I don't have any more puppies of hers, but there's lots of dogs around. If you were interested in acquiring a new dog, I could definitely tell you some people that you could get one from."
He's got the gears are grinding now. So yeah, Harvo thinks that would be a good idea. There'll be a dog in the picture pretty soon.
All right, cool. Yes. Yeah, meanwhile, let's see. There are other. Who else might you want to talk to? There are two young women kind of sitting and talking quietly. You don't quite hear what they're talking about at a nearby table. And I will. Ozadeus, you know that these two are students from the university you taught at. Do you recognize them, or is there just something about them that tells you?
Maybe they're like wearing like initiate robes or something like that.
Okay,
Recognize them as students.
cool.
Maybe not like specifically, but who they are, but definitely know them.
Right, they weren't your students specifically, but they. Cool. Do the students have like different, different fields or different disciplines? Do they wear anything that identifies them as belonging to that, or did
I
they
like
all
the
just?
idea of maybe like it's all part of like the sash that they wear, right?
Okay.
Maybe different sash color or different types of weaves in the sash to represent different schools of teachings.
Okay, yeah. So you recognize these two are from two different disciplines. Actually, one of them is just kind of straightforward, moving stuff from a distance, shooting blasts of energy out of your hand, sort of magic, and the other is an aspiring necromancer.
Ooh.
See, aside from them, there's a young woman about their same age, maybe a little younger, who looks a lot tougher. Does not look like a student, and she has, but like at the moment she has her arm in a sling and like a big bruise on the side of her face, and what look like burn scars on her other arm. But she's serving drinks, and she brings you whatever you just ordered.
It's
Plunks it down on the table.
warm. It's like a warm stew or something like that. And like as soon as he like grips the bowl and like pulls out like a ladle of it, it immediately like freezes. So like he has to eat it as icicles, and he's like, I fucking hate my life.
Oh man, can't even get a hot stew. Yeah, she looks at it. She's like, I don't. You're from the university, I take it.
Yes.
Why do you do that? I mean, hot stew is better. Everybody knows that.
I cannot control it.
Oh, that's too bad. Is everything you eat always cold?
Yes. Very cold.
Oh, well, I'll try to bring you things that are better cold then.
Is there like a fireplace in the inn?
Yeah,
I'm
there's
like,
definitely
let's
is.
go closer to that.
Yeah. You kind of like, you can get up pretty close to it, not quite in the fire, but you can get like within a few feet of the flames, which is probably a little warmer. Does that actually help, or is the air just around you always cold?
I love the idea of it not helping at all, but maybe just a little bit in spirit. It helps the spirit.
Do other people around you feel cold too, or is it just are you the only one who perceives it?
When you pick like a spell focus with this class, you have to pick like a look, and I picked a touch of frost. So like I just assume I'm gonna interpret it as like he just emanates cold from like his, instead of body heat, it's cold heat or cold body temperature. So it's something like that.
That sounds awful.
Yes, it's a curse.
Yeah, so people probably keep their distance from you. You have more personal space than anyone in this room.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Can I ask that we, like, I kind of like the idea that you're like cool to the touch or whatever, and your food gets cold and stuff. Can we make it so that we actually like can touch you and sit with you and be at the same table with you without?
It's not gonna like
cool.
damage
Okay.
or anything. It's just like
yeah. I just want to make sure that doesn't. But like we're not creating a barrier that makes it hard for us to interact with you there.
Yes, for sure. Like you could give me like a handshake or anything like that. My hand would just be like really icy to the touch.
Like cold and clammy. Yeah,
cold and
that's
clammy.
cool.
It's not gonna like freeze you and just like break off your hand or anything like that. I just like maybe I took it too far with the soup turning to ice, but it's definitely not warm anymore. That's for sure.
Yep. No, that's cool. I just want to make sure that we can still
absolutely
be companionable.
That's a good point.
Harvo give him this tankard. Hold this for a minute. He's gonna watch a frost gather on, and he'll stick his finger in it. Like just one more. Okay, and he's gonna take. Oh, that's good.
Nice. Yes. All right. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. One other. Yeah, there are two other people here. One is a man who's just kind of reading a book, kind of on the other side of the fireplace, and he looks up when the dwarf and the dog come in and goes back to his book. He looks up when the girl remarks on you chilling the soup again, kind of looks, little studies you for a moment and then goes back to his book. Aside from that, there is an old man who's kind of grumbling to himself, and like he has a cane, and he mostly seems to use it to like whack things, like not people at the moment, but like chair legs and stuff. You've seen him walking, and he doesn't seem to use it for walking all that much. It's mostly for emphasis. He likes to thump it on things. Is there anyone of this group of people you would like to talk to? I know Harvo is discussing puppies.
I kind of want to almost get into that conversation and ask the dwarf. Maybe I was listening while they were having that, and like I want to ask him like when the passes are going to be clear. So I'll probably like make my way over to that table and.
Yeah, he kind of nods and he says, "Yeah, I couldn't tell you for sure, but it's getting above freezing here in town. A couple days if we don't get another storm, maybe. Yeah, wish I knew."
Cool.
You in a hurry to get somewhere?
No, not particularly. Just looking to make my way down to the what was that place called?
Which place?
The place with all the undeads.
Oh! You're trying to make your way to New Volteri? Yeah, that'll get a look from him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks at you. He's like,
It's.
"Oh, you're one of those."
It's a research.
Well, I'll just say it ahead of time. Rest in peace.
I don't plan on dying over there.
Nobody plans on dying over there, but it sure seems to happen a lot. Good luck to you. I think you're better off that the passes are still closed, because that's another day of life you have.
I'll like quietly go back to my seat. Damn it.
Yeah. And you get a look from the guy with the book. Like he's definitely overheard that and noticed it.
I'm not conspicuous. I stand out.
You're not trying to hide it. Yeah.
No.
All right, cool. Yeah. Lieutenant Rekka, what are you up to?
I think Lieutenant Rekka is probably standing like in a corner, or probably a highish position, whether like there's some stairs or something. Just kind of overseeing everything that's going on, keeping an eye for an exit, keeping an eye for anyone that looks suspicious, or look or like is doing something suspicious, and they are probably enjoying, or like not really enjoying, but trying to enjoy this tankard of half ale, half like tea. They didn't want all the way ale, so they're like, "Can I get a half and half, please?" And I think they're still trying to recover from asking for that, because it was a big ordeal for them.
Yeah. Honestly, the most suspicious looking person here so far is Ozadeus.
Oh, perfect.
At least based on the reactions of everyone else in the room. But the girl comes up to you and looks at your drink. You were the first person who's ever asked for that, but I could make you some more if you want.
Oh no, this one's fine. I'm still working on this one. I'm about, I don't know, 10% into this, and 90% not feeling it too much.
Well, that's I guess I guess I'd hate to get a cop drunk. And she walks off. She's like, she carries things only in one hand because something's clearly wrong with the other one, and stops at the old man table, kind of talks to him for a bit. She's being very quiet, but he's like, don't bother me, girl. He's clearly like they clearly know each other, and he is like he's not just annoyed with her right at the moment. Like this is clearly an ongoing thing, and she just kind of like, sure, whatever, and stomps off.
I'll keep an eye on him just to see like if I can kind of extrapolate the history between the two of them, just by common glances or what.
They look a
I
little
can
bit
see.
alike.
Okay, so possibly related.
Yeah, everyone in this town looks a little bit alike. There's it's not an enormous gene pool, especially when the town was bigger, there were a lot of foreigners, but every time you've come through this town, it seems like there are fewer and fewer, and there are more of sort of the native ethnic group who are all human with a little bit of orc. So they all tend to be, fairly tall, kind of the same shade of tan skin and dark hair. But they don't look identical, and these two look more alike than any random two people from the town.
Okay. And is fast irritability just like a trait that's shared amongst, like, do they kind of have like the same mannerisms throughout the town, or is
No,
that something that's not really shared?
no, that's him.
Just him. Okay.
He seems very short tempered and whoops, what did I do there? I just minimized something. Yeah. So Luciano, are you playing music right now, or is that...
I think I'm probably just noodling around. Like I've got my guitar. I'm off in the corner. I'm like playing some stuff, maybe singing a little folk song or something like that. Not an actual like up on a stage performing, people throwing money into a hat thing. I am just the annoying guy at the bar with the guitar.
Right. Okay. But
Right,
you were so good that like you're probably less annoying.
Yeah. I'm just kind of, and it's a small place. There's only a few people here. That you said there's another necromancer here?
There is, yeah. A student necromancer. She doesn't have her license yet.
Oh, a goth chick.
Yeah, yep, goth chick.
Oh, wow. Okay. So is my knowledge so for Bardic lore I took the dead and the undead as my Bardic lore thing, which may be, making myself a bit of a ringer because you told us in advance that
That's fine.
but I may as well take something that's useful. So would that let me ask a question about her, because she's a necromancer?
Sure,
is that
yeah.
related enough that all right. So the question I have then is we know what we want from what's the name of the city of the dead there?
New Volteri. I'll take it.
New Volteri. What does she want from New Volteri is my question.
So she's from the university, and what would she want from New Volteri? I mean, I think she is she is inexperienced enough that pretty much anything would be pretty impressive. And she probably, she couldn't afford to buy any major artifacts on the black market or anything. So maybe she's just here to look, or maybe she hopes to find something, or it's hard to tell.
I'll start singing a little something about the wonders to be found in New Voltaire that were left behind, when the living had to flee, because, there were, the bones walking the street and stuff like this. And, the skulls of forgotten scholars and all this kind of stuff. And if she kind of perks up and starts paying attention, I will just get into a conversation with her. The gist of which is telling her that we're interested in going there. Oh, but with the passes closed, this is how, we don't know how we're going to be able to get there. And look at my mighty thewed companion and how restless he's growing. He needs ghouls to slay, ghouls to cleave and skeletons to shatter. And if only we knew a way to New Voltaire, we certainly would take her along with us if she could, if she knew a way to get there that we don't know of.
Okay, yeah. She said, I don't know. There used to be a tunnel, I've heard, but it's been closed for a long time. But if you're looking for ghouls, I was just talking to the girl who works here, Greta, and she said there were ghouls, zombies, ghosts. There are plenty of those in town, mostly down in the sewers. So if you're looking for those, you don't even have to leave.
We are, what we really want is to journey to New Voltaire. Has anyone ever explored those sewers thoroughly to see whether perhaps they connect?
It's a long way, but I don't know. You'd have to ask some. I'm not from here, but Auric there, I think he does stuff with the sewers. And Greta seems to know. Like she keeps telling me about all these things I should see while I'm in town. So maybe she'd tell you. I'm sorry. I've never even been here before. This is my first time here.
Well, welcome. I'm afraid you've come at a time when this town is all that there is to see.
Yeah. Well, I can't. To be honest, I didn't even want to come here. I just came here with Lionel, and she points to the other, the other student wizard. Yeah, I just came with her, and
And what is your name?
Oh, my name's Miria, and it's nice to meet you.
Likewise, I have I've never met a student pursuing your particular field of study.
Yeah. There's more than you'd think. Most of them keep it a secret. There's only so many zombie jokes a person can hear.
I'm sure. What is it about morbidity that fascinates you?
Oh, it's not so much morbidity. It's life. It's where it goes and what happens after death to the spirit. I don't personally have a lot of interest in zombies and ghouls. I'm more interested in spirits, ghosts, specters.
And have you found any in the time that you've been here?
I haven't, but Greta was just just talking to me about apparently there's a ghost who lives here, who appears every night this time of year, just down at the cemetery. Yeah, I'm going tonight with her. You should come.
I would not miss it for the world. I've only seen a few ghosts during my travels, and only from great distances. So to see one up close, with an expert in the field, I would feel. I'm sure that you would keep me from doing anything foolish that would upset this poltergeist.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I'll be happy to.
You are more expert than I, which in my eyes makes you an expert.
Yeah, I'll come find you when we're about to go. Yeah, so you now have an appointment with a ghost.
Nice.
Is everyone else going to see this ghost, or
Yeah,
is this...
curiosity would definitely get the better of me.
Harvo goes everywhere his little buddy goes.
Okay, cool.
I guess if my henchmen get killed by a ghost, they're not going to be any help. So I have.
That is true. That is true. But the ghost won't, never appears until after dark. So you have some time. And what would you like to do?
Before then?
Yep. You've got most of the day. You know that.
Oh, I'm gonna tell. I am definitely gonna, kind of walk over and plunk down with Auric and my friend Auric and Harvo, and say, and kind of lean in conspiratorially and say, Orvo, I have heard rumors that there are ghouls in the sewers beneath the city.
Auric kind of looks at you and laughs. Well, rumors, facts. You have an interest in ghouls. Because I have an interest in getting rid of ghouls.
My friend, as it happens, my companion here, and I point to, he's like Gucci, Gucci, Gucci with the dog. And I say, as it happens, my companion is a slayer of the previously dead of unimpeachable reputation.
He kind of turns to Harvo and says, you didn't say that. Oh, here, you're my new friend here. Has an interest in dog training, but he never mentioned he's also a ghoul slayer.
Harvo slayed many foes. He's going to shake that necklace of teeth, and he's going to point to a couple. And there's a couple they're all black and gnarly. You see this ghoul.
Well,
that one was a white, if you'll recall.
Oh, yeah, white, but tooth black. White was actually white.
To me, a ghoul's a ghoul. They're all ghouls to me. But if it's dead but still has a body and it walks, they're all things I do not want in my sewer. And along with the alligators, they can leave too.
And I wave Ozadeus over. And he says that, and I pause and I say, alligators? Is this a climb that is conducive to such creatures?
No, it isn't. They've been here. No, we have a swamp full of animals that should not be here. About, I don't know, 30 years ago, there was a traveling circus came through and some local kids, And he kind of gives this sidelong glance at the bartender. Some local kids set all their animals loose, and some of them survived and bred, and now we have a sewer full of them, and a swamp full of them, and a forest full of them.
Who is this alley person that lives in the sewer? Harvo will smash him.
It is a lizard of tremendous size with a mouth full of teeth that would look amazing on your necklace, my friend. I'm gonna wave.
Ready to go when you are.
I'm like waving Ozadeus and the lieutenant over to our table.
Yeah, I make my way there.
And I tell the story about the undead in the sewers, and my speculation that it's possible that we may be able to find some deeper tunnel in the sewers that might allow us access to the city, to the undead city that we're looking for.
Okay.
Name's Jim. To New Voltaire.
Yeah. While you're talking,
these creatures are coming from somewhere. They're not. It's not. Well, parthenogenesis is creating life from nothing. What would be creating unlife from nothing? It's not that.
I mean, you never know. Maybe it is. There's definitely a branch of necromancy that deals with something like that. But whether it actually works or not, you don't know. I don't know.
Out of character, there's a tunnel. We think maybe to New Voltaire, which we think has undead, and said tunnel connects to said sewers, which have undead. Maybe.
Okay, so not necessarily. There is a tunnel. It doesn't. It just kind of goes out. It's basically a tunnel instead of a pass, except that it doesn't exist. Well, it's not a tunnel anymore. It's caved in.
Oh yeah. No, this like I'm just taking a flyer with this.
Right. Yeah.
Like, this is how I'm like. I feel like the impression I get is that Ozadeus is kind of fairly fixated on his goal. And so this is the carrot I'm dangling in front of him to draw.
Okay. So you're kind of overplaying it a little.
Yeah. Nice. And Lieutenant Rekka, this is the people need our help here with this.
I think Lieutenant Rekka takes out a small book from her back pocket and goes, this is a good time for me to check up on the rules and regulations for building codes involving tunnels and crypts. What chapter was that again? 47. Yes, here it is.
Yes.
I will be back.
A visual inspection.
While you're talking, I think the girl with the sling comes up, and I couldn't help overhearing you're going into the sewers you're interested in.
You're Greta.
Yeah, I am. I just there's some people down there too that you watch out for them.
People.
Not dead.
Well,
alive.
Alive people. Alive. I think they're alive. They sure seemed alive. But I don't think. I mean, I don't know they're still there, but that's the only direction they could have gone. So.
However, I think sewers in this town very popular.
Who are these? Do they live there?
Oh God, I don't know. It's look, I just the other day I went down to the cellar to fix the cellar. Sometimes it floods, so there's a grate that leads to a big pipe that leads to the sewer, and the grate's broken, and I could hear vermin down there a lot. So I went down there to fix it, and so people attacked me. I don't know how many, and maybe at least 3. Yeah.
Can you describe these people for me?
it was dark, and
Terrifying. In your own
well,
basement?
yeah, I threw a lantern at one, and fought back, and they, I got away, and I came back, and they were gone when we went to look down there again. But it's
And
yeah,
like
watch out for them.
her arm is in a sling or something like
Yeah.
that?
Mm-hmm.
So
The living conditions here have degraded since the last time we've been here.
Did you report this to the local authorities?
The local authorities is my mom, who's the sheriff, and yeah, I told her.
Okay. I think that is my current quest, is to see what's going on down in the
There's a
tunnel.
lot of stuff going on down there.
My guess is that they don't pay taxes either, correct? You don't pay you for rent?
Of the sewer? I don't think anyone charges rent for the sewer.
Reasonable cause.
Trespass at the very least, Lieutenant, certainly.
Absolutely. You
Can
read
you
my
provide?
mind.
Can you with the authority that you carry to mend the damage caused by the breaking of the law, can you help mend her arm?
Yeah. I can lay on some hands. What's the rolling thing? The link?
Oh. Post that in the chat.
So before they make that roll, I'm gonna start strumming my just kind of plucking at my guitar. I'll start playing a little song about just like about how you should be careful what you throw down the sewers because you never know what might come back. But this is to I want to do arcane art to give Lieutenant Rekka a bump so that if someone needs to aid her in her laying on of hands, it will increase that by 1. So the effect is next time someone successfully assists a target with aid, they get +2 instead of +1.
Cool.
Is what I'm looking for.
Oh, nice.
Next time anyone assists Lieutenant Rekka, and the next time it happens,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
they get +2.
But since we know she's going to lay on hands, I'm going to do that right now.
Cool. And you don't need to roll for that, do you? It just happens.
No, I do have to roll for it.
Oh, okay.
So, they already got breakfast. Yeah, sorry. That's somebody else feeding the cats after I fed them this morning. Sorry about that interruption.
No
So when you weave a performance into a basic spell, choose an ally and an effect. The next time someone successfully assists a target, on a 10+, they get the selected effect. On a 7 to 9, your spell still works, but you draw unwanted attention or your magic reverberates to other targets affecting them as well, GM's choice. On a miss, your move and you decide whether it works or not, and you get to make a move as hard as you like because it's a miss. So,
yep.
and I'll get an XP.
And I see that snake eyes there.
Yes, yeah, it sure is.
Great. Okay, cool. Wow. So that's an interesting, like that reverberating to someone else would be not such like kind of meaningless. So, yeah, go ahead, CJ.
Okay. Oh wait, that's a D10. Sorry. So I got a 7.
Okay.
Oh, wait, 8 with +1.
Yeah, are you adding? What are you adding? You're adding charisma.
+1 mod
Yeah.
and a 7 for the roll, so 8.
Okay, cool. You're very quiet.
Am I?
Let me see if I can turn.
Yeah,
Oh, now
he's
you're
been
fine.
Okay.
pretty faint all night for me.
You were just kind of muffled there. But I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay, 8. Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. What is it? They are healed, but the damage or disease is transferred to you. Yeah. Yeah. You do this, and you like at the same time that she's kind of looking at you with this amazement, like, wow, that doesn't hurt anymore. You just feel this sharp pain, like right in your elbow, and like your arm is kind of like you can't extend it all the way suddenly.
Oh no. Guys, I'll be right back. Something's come up.
Okay. Also, the old man who was sitting nearby gets up, and he like springs out of his chair, and he's like, oh, kind of stretches. I feel great. Hey, anybody want to fight? Come on, somebody.
Fight?
Yeah. Hey, my giant friend. Yes. Choose your weapon.
No weapon.
No weapon.
Wrestle.
Oh, you're the old-fashioned. Yes, absolutely. Let's take this outside on the porch. And yeah, he's going to challenge you to wrestle.
Great.
Now this man is he's like 80 if he's a day. He's kind of old and frail, although he doesn't seem to need the cane as much as he uses it. But otherwise, like he seems he's pretty energetic right now.
You're kind of
You're going to
old
win this fight.
So Harvo say, you sure you want to fight, Harvo? You're kind of old and little.
Oh, I may look old, but in my day, I could beat you with both hands tied behind my back. Come on.
Gentlemen,
You afraid of me?
Gentlemen, please. I feel that in the spirit of, and I point at the half-orc couple in that picture up on the wall. In the spirit of Virgil Broadwater and Darga One Arm, that this is not a place where we should fight each other. But I feel that an opposed contest of strength, now that would be truly epic. So perhaps because rather than have them wrestle, I would like to see them. I would like to see you demonstrate your prowess without striking blows against each other, because I feel like that's in this place. This is not that's not what we want to do.
My friend Luciano, he's very smart and uses a lot of words. We arm wrestle.
Yes, excellent. Yes, and I point to the innkeeper and I say, "We will need your sturdiest table, sir."
He kind of laughs and he leads you to his sturdiest table, and the old man kind of like, oh, young people these days. All right, fine, arm wrestle.
And I step out into the street and I cup my hands. Hear ye, one, come all. It is the The contest of the century, a feat of strength. The vigor of youth versus the guile of age. Here, under this very roof, and I'll see if I can get some people to come in and kind of fill the place up and start making bets on the outcome and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's some people at the market across the road who hear you and look up, and they look interested enough to come and check it out. So yeah, you don't quite fill up the bar, but you get an audience. Sure. And they are, from the like murmurs in this group, you think maybe that it's not such an obvious outcome after all, because they're very impressed by the old man's name is Bennett. Bennett is apparently has a reputation around here.
Yes, and my companion has drunk a substantial quantity of this establishment's very fine ale. I begin to regret, my friend, my invitation to wager on this on the outcome of this. But no, we have resolved that I must trust in my friend to give it his all. Yeah, and if whatever, bet a few. I actually have 3 coin, so let's spread that around. However that works. And
okay, so trying to think of how to do this. I guess this is just a straightforward defy danger strength. The danger being, the danger might being that you might lose, or that you might seriously hurt this old man.
The danger being my 3 coin, my friend.
That's yeah. Well, I mean, that's the danger to you.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, this is feeding one of Harvo's Herculean appetites.
Conquest, yeah.
Conquest. So he is stripped to the waist, and egging on the old man, and he's gonna get down on the table and get himself set, put his big burly arm up there, and brace up with this old guy, and I'm ready to go.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered here in order to witness a feat of strength, to assure that there will be no chicanery, that there will be no misbegotten cheating going on. We have enlisted the aid of a recognized neutral authority in the form of an officer of the heroic order. Lieutenant Rekka, you shall be our referee for this contest.
I would like to go ahead and state for the record that as per rule EB-1A, no participant shall not bet either directly or indirectly, or instruct, permit, or cause, or enable any person to bet as per law.
Yes, so there shall be no wagers upon the outcome of this event. There should be no wagers upon the outcome of this event. However, the loan that I have promised you, my friend, we shall resolve once we know what the outcome is. And
very well.
And so then I just start kind of doing one of those things on my guitar where it's just and as they're arm wrestling, if the old guy is winning, it kind of the notes go higher, but they go lower if kind of as it goes back and forth. And I'll just kind of keep the soundtrack up for the event here.
Well, I rolled it. Harvo rolled a 12.
Yeah. Yeah, Harvo, you this does not last very long. In fact, there's some disappointed sighs as the old man's hand touches the table. But because you rolled so high, it does not slam down on the table, and you do not hurt him. And people kind of like, they're impressed, and they're also, that was short. That's quick. Oh man. Did you see?
Well, Harvo might let a cat and mouse them a little bit. Like, oh, you're strong, old man. Come on. Oh, it's close. Oh, whoa. And he'll get him back and forth a couple of times.
Okay.
Well, he wants to entertain the crowd, right? He wants to give him a show. And he likes this guy. Oh, no, this guy, he loves this guy. And so, but finally, he's got to pin him. And you're right. He's not going to like hurt him. He's going to do him firmly but gently. And then he's going to stay. He's going to pick the old man up. I like you. That was good. You're strong.
Okay, yeah. In that case, he does not get mad at losing because, yeah, you saved him face, and also like, yeah, he's impressed with you. It's like, oh, man, we have to drink together some more, my friend. You remind me of all the people I used to fight with. Oh, maybe I'll, when you leave town, what are you gonna do? Maybe I'll come along.
You come with me and Luciano. He's a good friend. He plays giant ukulele so sweetly. Harvo love his music.
Yeah, and both the bartender and the and Greta are like standing in the background, shaking their heads, going, "No, don't, no, trust me, don't."
Harvo's he's just a big-hearted guy. He's making friends.
Cool. I love it. Yeah. All right. So there is a sewer, and you know how to get into it. And wow, it's noon. So I guess, do we want to leave with you all headed to the sewer?
Yeah, that seems like a great time. We can pick up right with the dungeon crawl next time. Cool.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm sorry that went a little slow for what was accomplished, but I'm glad we got some interaction between the characters.
That was a great intro, really.